Great, thank you. Okay, well, welcome everyone to the regular council meeting for Langley City for Monday, December 7th, 2020, our last council meeting of the year. I'm Mayor Vandenbroek, and I'd like to start by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional unceded territory of the Katzie, Kwantlen, Semiahmoo, and Masque First Nations. Okay, so we have some introductions with me today. I have Councillor Paul Albrecht, Councillor Terry James, Councillor Gail Martin, Councillor Nathan Bahal, Councillor Rudy Stortaboom, Councillor Rosemary Wallace, and for staff, we have Francis Chung, our Chief Administrative Officer, Darren Light, our Director of Corporate Services, Carl Johansson, our Director of Development Services, Rick Baumhoff, our Director of Engineering, Parks and Environment, Kim Hilton, our Director of Recreation, Culture and Community Services, Kelly Kenny, our Corporate Officer, and Scott Kennedy, our Acting Fire Chief. So we'll start with the adoption of the agenda, adoption of the December 14, 2020 regular agenda, that the December 14, 2020 agenda be adopted as circulated. Any additions or changes?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to add one thing, please.
Okay.
Yeah, just for the record, you said the meeting of December 7th is 14th today, so just for the
thank you. My sheet actually says the 7th, so I will change that.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to add something in regards to our downtown.
Okay, did you want that to go under new business?
Yeah, new business is fine, thank you.
Okay. All right, any other changes or additions? Seeing none. Okay, so with the addition to the new business, although I need a mover and a seconder.
Second.
Councillor Bahal, Councillor Stortaboom, all those in favor? Good, that carries with the addition. Adoption of the minutes, regular meeting minutes for December 7th, 2020, that the minutes of the regular meeting held on December 7th, 2020 be adopted as circulated. Any corrections? So Councillor Wallace and Councillor James, mover and a seconder, all those in favor, and that carries. So the public hearing minutes from December 7th, 2020. The motion is that the minutes of the public hearing held on December 7th, 2020 be adopted as circulated. Any corrections? Additions? Need a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Albrecht, Councillor Stortaboom, all those in favor? Contrary? That carries. All right, so Mayor's report. Our next upcoming meetings are January 11th, 2021 at 3 p.m. and that will be remotely. And the following one in January will be January 25th, 2021 at 3 p.m. as well, remotely. And first up under Mayor's report, we have the recreation update with Kim Hilton, our Director of Recreation, Culture and Community Services.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just going to share my screen and hopefully it works today. I tried it several times. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Great. All right, so this is the update for December 2020, our last one for this year, and what a year it has been. We have some fun activities happening that we'd like to promote. Tara, who is our special event coordinator, supervisor, would like to promote this Christmas Eve jingle. So this idea started in Scotland and has gone worldwide. We're encouraging people to go outside at 6 o'clock on December 24th and ring their bells for 2 minutes to help spread some holiday cheer. The concept hopes to create a wave of bells across the world. It's been a tough year, we all recognize that, but this could be a nice way to make it a little bit more magical as we come to a close. So that's December 24th, 6 p.m. Jingle your bells. And I don't know if people have been noticing, but these three elves, Timmy, Doug, and Ellie, have been up to some interesting things over the past few days. And today, this is today's activities. Looks like they're baking something, some meringue. If you follow us on our social media channels, you'll see what they're up to, and they will be inviting people to participate in different activities throughout December. So keep your eyes on the elf on the shelf. So for the month of December, we are doing a 12 days of December giveaways contest, which is running on Instagram, our youth Instagram page. So youth are encouraged to log on to the Instagram and see what's happening, and prizes are being given away every day. And we wanted to let the youth know that starting in January, we were able to bring back our drop-in basketball with our phase 2 guidelines from Via Sport, the artistic expressions, the teen time, the open gym, and of course our youth night on Saturday nights. This is free for youth. No passes are required, and these are for youth grades 6 to 12. For more information, you can check out our website at langleycity.ca, or you can phone 604-514-2940. And those are our youth programs. Our racket sports are continuing, though we are following the mandate of the PHO. So the racket sports are single play only, and we're offering table tennis, pickleball, and badminton. And just a note that the single play only is for indoor and outdoor. We do ask that people bring their own equipment, and we do request that you register, or you're required to register in advance to participate indoors. And for more information on that or to register, you can phone 604-514-2940. Just a reminder that our weight room is open. We do have limited capacity. You can book in advance for a 90-minute session. You can arrive at any time during the 90-minute session, but you do need to leave at the end of it. So typically our sessions go from 6 in the morning till 7:30, and then 8 till 9:30 in the morning, and so on right through to 7:30 at night. And come January, we will be expanding the Saturday offerings to go right through to 5:30 when the library closes. So for more information, you can phone 604-514-2940 or check our website at langleycity.ca. And from our city family to yours, we'd like to send a special season's greetings to all of our Langley City residents and members of our programs. And we have put a holiday lights tour together. So hopefully this is going to work for us. I'm going to click onto our YouTube channel here, and I'll leave this with you.
Is that playing for anybody?
Are we seeing it? We're not seeing it, are
No, it started and then it disappeared.
we? New share. Let's try a new share. And this screen here. Sorry, it looks so good too.
Oh,
Can you see it?
yeah,
Okay. Can you hear it?
yeah.
Thank you. So just a little something to share with everyone, and that YouTube video is up on our YouTube channel, so people who aren't able to get out and see the lights in person can certainly click on it and enjoy the experience. Thank you.
Well done. You and your staff again and again and again, Ms. Hilton. Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas and happy 2021 to all of you as well. I have Rose, Councillor Wallace, Councillor Storteboom, and then Councillor Albrecht.
I just want to compliment your staff, Kim, and I know we had to cancel the Christmas parade, and a lot of people look forward to that, and a number of other things, but I think your staff has gone out of their way to spread that festive feeling, and the Parks Department as well with the lights, but just the way that you guys are all coming together. Yeah, just thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wallace. I'll pass that along.
Great, thank you. Councillor Storteboom, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Ms. Hilton. A tremendous effort you and your team have put in this year under most unusual circumstances. I can't help but appreciate the tremendous effort you and your team put in every day. Really appreciate your report. As always, very thorough and informative and well presented. Your Christmas video was especially nice. Please accept my best wishes for the holidays, for a happy Christmas and a wonderful better new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Storteboom.
Thank you, Councillor Albrecht.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thanks for your report, Ms. Hilton. And yeah, I'm chair of the Christmas Parade Committee, and it was disappointing that we couldn't have a parade this year. There's no doubt. But the committee is nevertheless was undaunted and did exceptional work, coming up with some creative ideas, trying to make the best of the season in difficult times. So we used a lot of our budget to help staff put up additional lighting to brighten up the downtown. Staff came up with the idea of the elves on a shelf, and I would try to encourage all residents and visitors, for that matter, to come into downtown Langley, have a look at the festive approach that we've taken in downtown, and really selling our community for what it really has and what it really brings and what it really offers everybody. So I want to thank our committee for doing some great work, and we had a number of ideas going out there, and what we wanted to do and what we would like to do and what we were trying to achieve. But under the circumstances, a lot of it just kind of fell by the wayside with just the way things are right now. But we're looking forward to having our full parade session next year. And I know the committee did great work. Staff have done wonderful things. And again, I just want to wish everyone all the best of the season. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And it's just on hold this year. Just on hold. We'll do it bigger and better next year, right? Okay, anybody else have any comments or? Okay, I don't see any more hands, so thank you very much, Ms. Hilton. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, and now Councillor Albrecht, I believe you have an update for Discover Langley City.
Yes, I do, Madam Mayor, and thank you. It's not going to be a real long one, but there's some good information here. So the latest provincial health orders have people staying local and not venturing outside of their own towns. This means that usual marketing activities to draw people into Langley City are not possible. However, this is an ideal time to make our residents more aware of what Discover Langley City offers in the way of information and ideas of how to enjoy their own local areas in a safe and inviting way. Destination BC has followed up with the current message of stay local, support local, which is guiding the DLC marketing campaigns right now. Social media is the most efficient messaging system, and the engagement levels continue to be really successful. The stakeholders are an integral part of building strong tourism community in Langley City, and an update was sent to all stakeholders with information on the AGM and the DLC marketing programs, and a link to the new Langley City food videos, which are quite nice. Langley City Cycles, this program has gained traction despite the cold and wet time of year, and the guide has been downloaded almost 300 times since it launched, and it'll just do nothing but pick up steam. I'm sure of that. Our consumer newsletter featured autumn activities such as indoor golfing at the Golf Den, fall concerts at the Langley Community Music School, and new food video and snaps from social media feeds. The newsletter was sent to almost 200 people with 51% open rate and 25% click rate through. These numbers show that the writing is compelling and relevant to DLC consumers and stakeholders. Fall contest, the gift of comfort and joy. Due to COVID restrictions, DLC is targeting our residents with a gift of comfort and joy. This campaign is designed to reward our followers and keep DLC front of mind, despite not encouraging visits from anyone but locals. The gift was curated from downtown Langley shops and is valued at $150. A new gift bag will be given away every 5 weeks and includes a cozy shawl, Sherpa slippers, soft gloves, soothing loose leaf tea and beautiful storage container, and a ceramic infuser cup. Lots of information here on Instagram and Facebooks. It just continues to show great success. The website, people are still looking for things to do, as evidenced by most popular page on the DLC website, which is attractions. This is followed next by shopping and restaurants. So people out there want to do things. There's no doubt about it. Digital media, Discover Langley City's Google ad grant performance for November. Search ads saw over 8,400 impressions, over 750 link clicks to the website, and achieving an impressive 8.93% CTR. It's a top performing campaign, continues to be attractions, shopping, and restaurants. And that is my report for today.
Great, thank you very much. Busy, busy, busy. Councillor Wallace, go ahead. And then Councillor James, and then Councillor Sturdivant.
Thank you very much for your report. I just want to compliment the social media and the person in charge of the Instagram and social media. It's done exceptionally well. Aside from just doing the downtown businesses, and you know, we're concentrating on that, but you know, we've been forced to get outdoors during this pandemic, and you know, just some, you know, beautiful locations that they've been putting up on their Instagram. So if we could just pass that along to whoever does social media, I'm just really impressed with the engagement and the inclusion with that. Thank you.
I will do that. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Councillor James.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify something with Councillor Albrecht. The cozy giveaway, I think you said once every 5 weeks, and in fact, it's once a week for 5 weeks, just for point of, yeah, letting people know. And yeah, the purpose behind it was just like I say, or you said, to keep DLC top of mind, because yeah, there's a lot going on out there and we just want to make sure that we're on top of everything. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Councillor James. It didn't really say once a week for 5 weeks, but that's okay. I'm glad for the clarification. Thank you for that.
Great, Councillor Sturdivant.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you for your report, Councillor Albrecht. I too want to echo Councillor Wallace's comments around social media. I offer my seasonal best wishes to the DLBA and the Discover Langley City. I've really been impressed by what I've seen this past year, again, through these most unusual times, but I've been especially taken by the social media campaigns. They've been bright and alive and dynamic. In fact, I think I probably got more looks. I gave more likes for the media campaigns. In fact, the social media wanted to offer me a badge for being your biggest fan, and I'm sure that's true. So please extend my best wishes and appreciation. These wonderful daily reports have really been a bright spot for me. Thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you, Councillor Sturdivant, and I will pass that on.
Okay, any other comments or questions for Councillor Albrecht? I don't see anything, so thank you very much for that report. Okay, going on to bylaws. Bylaw 3142, zoning amendment bylaw and development permit number 04-20. Third reading of a bylaw to rezone properties located at 202 56th Avenue and 20237 Michaud Crescent to accommodate a 6-story, 213-unit rental apartment development and associated Michaud Park community garden expansion. That the bylaw cited as the zoning bylaw 1996, number 2100, amendment number 169, number 2020, number 3142 be read a third time. Need a mover and a seconder on that, please. Councillor Pahal, Councillor Stortaboom. Any discussion on that? Councillor Pahal, Councillor Stortaboom, and Councillor Albrecht.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I am supportive of the third reading. I think this is a great project. I'm encouraged because we're retaining trees on both the west and east side of the property that are mature trees. We're expanding the community garden. And also, I know there was some comments and maybe some confusion from the public about an 8-meter wide lane. It's actually 6.5 meters with a 1.5 meter sidewalk. And I mean, I would encourage, as you're moving forward, to see if there's any other ways to reduce that carriageway, retaining the 8 meters for the fire department, but making the sidewalk and landscaping as wide as possible. So I know that's dealt with as you have the negotiations with the developer, but I'm really encouraged, and I'm encouraged that the developer is also putting in traffic calming from day one. So because of those reasons, I'm fully supportive.
Thank you, Councillor Pahal. I feel exactly the same way. Councillor Stortaboom.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I too support this resolution, and I really appreciate the Penny Farthing Development Corporation coming to Langley City and partnering with us for this significant piece of property, which really is vital to the strategy that we have for the downtown core moving forward. The fact that they intend to retain the name Penny Farthing suggests to me not only that they maintain ownership and use this as a revenue property, but that it would be a flagship for their development corporation and an example for other municipalities and how we can cooperate moving forward for developments of such significance. So again, I support the resolution. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Great, thank you. Councillor Albrecht, I believe you had a comment? Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
I sure do. Thank you, Madam Mayor. And yeah, I too am favorable to the application. It's going to be a great addition to our community, real positive. It's going to add to our community gardens, adds to the pedestrian connectivity. As Councillor Pahal said, there's traffic calming going to be put in place. I really like the renderings in the package. It really gives a better visual representation of how things are going to fit in that particular area. And I know that the overall concept fits with our vision of what the city's future will be, with keeping in mind our nexus of community as well as our OCP update. But more importantly to me, it really is going to go a long ways to helping us meet our community housing needs. There's a substantial below market rental component to this. And once a funding agreement is worked out with CMHC, we could be getting into a housing agreement to protect future rental and the prices of that. So I think this is going to be a huge benefit to our community, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you.
Great, thank you for those comments. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. Did I have a mover and a seconder for that, Kelly? I did, right? Okay, just checking.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I thought I did, but okay, call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Okay, on to bylaw 3143, discharge of land use contract number 04-75. Third reading of a bylaw to authorize the discharge of land use contract number 04-75 from the property located at 202 56th Avenue and 20237 Michaud Crescent. that the bylaw cited as the discharge of land use contract number 04-75 bylaw 2020 number 3143 be read a third time. Any discussion on that? Mover and a seconder at all, Councillor Albrecht and Councillor Stordeboom. And was there any discussion on that? Seeing none, call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Bylaw 3146, official community plan amendment bylaw. First and second reading of a bylaw to amend the City of Langley official community plan bylaw 2005, number 2600, 20689 and 20699 Eastleigh Crescent, that the bylaw cited as City of Langley official community plan bylaw 2005, number 2600, amendment number 11, 2020, number 3146 be read a first and second time. Mover and a second, Councillor Paul, Councillor Stordeboom. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that bylaw carries as well. OCP amendment bylaw number 3146, public consultation and adoption requirements 20689 and 20699 Eastleigh Crescent. That council, one, directs staff to send copies of the official community plan amendment bylaw number 3146, 20689 and 20699 Eastleigh Crescent to the following organization and authorities for consultation prior to holding a public hearing on January 25th, 2021, in consideration of the requirements set out in Section 475 of the Local Government Act. Metro Vancouver, TransLink, Kwantlen First Nation, School District number 35. 2, consider official community plan amendment bylaw number 3146 in conjunction with the 2020 to 2024 financial plan bylaw number 3120 and the regional liquid and solid waste management plans in accordance with the Section 4773 of the Local Government Act. I need a mover and a seconder for that, please. Councillor Stordeboom, Councillor James, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Bylaw 3147, zoning amendment and development permit number 05-20, first and second reading of a bylaw to rezone properties located at 20689 and 20699 Eastleigh Crescent to accommodate a 6-story 88-unit apartment development. That the bylaw cited as the zoning bylaw 1996, number 2100, amendment number 171, 2020, number 3147 be read a first and second time. Mover and a seconder, Councillor Stordeboom, Councillor James, any discussion on that? Councillor Pahal, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through the mayor to staff. Do you know if there will be a loading zone included in this development?
Yes, through the mayor to the councillor. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, we are going to have a loading zone incorporated into the development just at the top of the ramp there on the surface parking level. And that's something that we followed up with the applicant following the ADP meeting.
Thank you very much. And as someone who was in the meeting, I just like to say I like the format where you show the recommendations from the ADP and then how the proponent of the project addressed them. So thank you very much for making that easy for at least me to see how the actual ADP process works and how those recommendations actually get translated into action. So I think that's really good to see that level of transparency. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
No, that's great, Councillor Pahal. Councillor Stordeboom, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Pahal, for your comments. I too really appreciate staff's work on this particular project. It is a fairly unique design, well received by the panel, and with a few changes over time, staff have really demonstrated their ability to work with the development community to make sure that the City of Langley's best interests are first and foremost, while encouraging this new business with redevelopment in our downtown core. So my compliments to staff and thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Okay, moving on to committee reports. The Crime Prevention Task Group. We have some RCMP video series set to crime prevention through environmental design. So I believe we have a presentation from our Manager of Community Safety, Mr. Selvage.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't actually have a report. What I have is one of the videos to show. Do you want me to, I can address just what the report is first. It is on July 23rd, 2020, the Crime Prevention Task Group. Madam Mayor, would you prefer to see the video first, or do you just want me to explain sort of how we got to this point?
Why don't you show the video and then you can explain. How does
Sounds
that
good.
sound?
Just going to share my screen
Thank
here.
you.
So this particular video is one of 8 of a SEPTED video series that was produced by the RCMP as a recommendation from the Crime Prevention Task Group. And this particular video is about maintenance and management. So it's the 5th video in the series here, and I'll just play it for you here. Everybody can see that?
Yes.
Can you hear that?
No, I hear you.
Sorry.
It's not great.
Yeah, unfortunately it's quite quiet, and we're going to do some work on that to turn it up, but we'll this is about as good as it's going to get, so we'll just try that again.
Maintenance and management. This is very, very key to the look of your business. It can also include things like training your staff in regards to robbery prevention, personal safety, and your company's policies and procedures around contacting the police. Graffiti is definitely a nuisance behavior, and you want to remove it as soon as possible. Ideally, any graffiti needs to be removed within 24 hours. And that's just goes back to the broken window theory. If there's one broken window and that's not repaired, there's going to be another broken window shortly thereafter. And that ties in with graffiti too. If there's one tag here, more tags are going to follow if that's not cleaned up. And that really goes back to showing that someone cares about the business, someone cares about the area, and it's really an important part of your overall security is that management of your property and the maintenance. You do want to decrease that nuisance behavior, like the graffiti and the vandalism and other criminal activities. Keep litter off your property, keep them cleaned up, and do consider a mural. Langley City, I love the murals. I love wandering around. Every time I go down there, I find some new piece of legitimate artwork. And it seems to be some sort of unwritten rule among graffiti artists that you definitely find less graffiti on muraled walls than on the walls with nothing. It's almost like the walls with nothing are a blank canvas and they want to put their mark there, whereas they respect the artwork that's already gone up on these muraled walls. I mean, that's not in every case, but we do see a decreased amount of graffiti on those muraled walls. Same goes for your electrical boxes. You got to keep those cleaned up, maintained. That picture on the left, you've got an electrical plug just open. So I don't know if that is turned on or turned off, but that could allow for someone just to come along, sit down right on the curb, start charging their phone. Just someone that you'd want to, like we said, we want to increase legitimate business users, and that's not someone who's legitimately using the business in the area. Just want to keep everything well maintained. And that's why I do love wrapped boxes. You do see less vandalism on these boxes, and it looks great as just a different feel to your community. So the picture on the left, you've got a very clean area. I would want to see maybe a little bit more happening on that patio to make sure it looks like it's being utilized. But when you compare it to the picture on the right, it just looks uncared for, that alley, like it's just your dumping ground, and that's what you're going to attract to the area. Definitely want to keep your garbage and recycling locked up as much as you can. We've got the pictures that are showing what happens if your garbage can isn't locked up, if that area isn't maintained, and it's just the increased amount of, basically, the I don't care about this area. You're gonna have people come by, pull stuff out. If you've got cardboard that's not put away, people are gonna pull that out. That's used a lot of times for insulation if people are sleeping outside. Love this area. So the picture on the left, you can see that the garbage and recycling is all behind a gated area, making it way harder for anyone to access that area. Whereas the garbage cans on the right, yeah, they're not behind that fenced area, but they are locked. Everything is clean in that area. And this is beautiful. Lovely murals, clean area, and you can see that the garbage and recycling is all tucked in behind a gated fenced area in hopes of decreasing any of those nuisance type behaviors. Again, Langley City is great at having different festivals at different hours of the days. The Passionate Home has been great about having different classes in the evening time, and that just lengthens the amount of time that someone is there offering that surveillance at your business.
So there you go. So the Crime Prevention Task Group in early July discussed on how best to communicate the Crime Prevention Task Group principles to local businesses, and it was noted that a lot of business owners don't have a lot of time. So it was suggested that creating a video series would allow the business owners to view the video clips and learn about the principles on their own time at their own leisure. And RCMP Inspector Parmar agreed to take that back to his staff, and his staff created this 8-part series for businesses. And the recommendations of the report are to add this to our YouTube page, website, and social media sites, and that council directs staff to work with the RCMP, the Greater Langley Chamber, and the Downtown Langley Business Association, so that we can prepare a joint press release on the RCMP SEPTED video series.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Councillor Sturtevant.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Salvage. What a tremendous initiative, an 8-part series available for people to watch, not just from our city, but anybody who goes to YouTube. You're establishing us as an example, not just for the immediate area, but the region and beyond. I really appreciate the special effort that's gone into this. And if I can, I want to encourage these business owners to truly watch these videos, because I know that the tips that you bring forward are very worthwhile. Unfortunately, the volume of the audio was a little bit soft for me, but a picture says 1,000 words. So the visual imagery brought forward some ideas that I think are very timely, and I really appreciate the program. So thank you very much. My compliments to you and your team.
Thank you, Councillor Storterboom. I'll take that back to our partners.
Great, thank you. Councillor James, please, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a question for Mr. Salvage. So just curious, and I don't expect an answer this moment, but when the audio is repaired, as you indicated was going to be, because it is a little hard to hear, I'm assuming that all 8 of these videos are going to be made available so that they can be put up on the various websites, rather than rolling them out one at a time, because people probably, if they're engaged, they'll tend to watch them all if they're sitting there. My other question is, or not question, just comment for feedback. I genuinely appreciate how the person doing the talking, it's organic. It's a real person talking in real time about real things. It's not scripted or made to seem like another one of those "and here we have" kind of thing. So that's feedback, encouraging feedback to take back to those who are responsible for this. And just kudos to the Crime Prevention Task Group for putting this initiative together. It's a good one. It's going to do well, I think.
Thank you, Councillor James. I'll take that back to the group as well. Yeah, I'm not too sure about the sound on the videos. That's one piece that we'll have to figure out. All the videos will be uploaded at the same time, so we'll be able to view them either one at a time or all at once. But we'll definitely have to find out about the sound for you. Thank you.
Great, thanks for those comments. Councillor Wallace, please.
Thank you. Thanks to the Crime Prevention Task Group for all your hard work. I agree, I totally agree with the, murals seem to be, and I want to touch wood and all of that, but it seems to me if you have murals, it lessens graffiti because, graffiti artists like to have their own wall. That is very, very true. One of my things was in regards to maybe finances, in regards to having some businesses being able to afford to put their recycling and garbage and all of that behind, fenced and all of that. And I was wondering if there could be maybe a program or a grant program like the Downtown Business Association has with the facades of buildings, right? Just food for thought. Maybe that's something that we can encourage as a grant program, saying, that's what's great about the videos, because it shows, how neat and tidy it looks, right? And it not only helps with the crime prevention, but it just helps with the aesthetics and the way the business looks as well. So just some thoughts, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Wallace, and I'll take that back to the group as well. Yeah, certainly when the businesses have their garbage behind the fenced areas, it certainly adds to beautification of the area, and we see less garbage in the area for sure.
Councillor Albrecht, I believe you are, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. And I was just going to move the committee's recommendation A and recommendation B. Thank you.
Would you like to read those out loud, please?
I can do that. So the committee recommendation A, that council direct staff to upload the RCMP SEPTED video series to Langley City's YouTube page, website, and social media. Committee recommendation B, that council direct staff to work with the RCMP, Greater Langley Chamber, and Downtown Langley Business Association to prepare a joint press release on the RCMP SEPTED video series. I so move.
Seconded by Councillor Wallace. Wonderful. Great job by the committee. Councillor Pahal, did you have any comments that you wanted to make?
Sure, I'll make a few comments. Definitely, the committee was really impressed with the videos. And this year we were going to actually have sort of a Know Your Neighbor business edition. So we wanted to have volunteers go around and present this information, but obviously we can't do that. So it was really good to see our partners such as the RCMP be able to pivot towards this. This is the second iteration. We tried to do like a chamber share and learn, but I think people were a bit zoomed out at the time. So to have this available, and I think that you might be one of the few places that actually has like RCMP free SEPTED information online, is pretty cool. And then also that is local context. I think as Councillor James said, having it be relatable to your own community as opposed to some generic anytown really helps drive the points home. So I know the committee was just completely impressed with the work of the RCMP. That's all I have to say, Madam Mayor.
Fantastic, thank you. Councillor Martin.
Yes, thank you. I'm not on mute. Yeah, before we upload the video and do the press release, is something going to be done with the sound?
Yeah, I mean, Councillor Prahal, maybe you can comment. I didn't feel was the sound as hard to hear when we played it for the group. Do you think?
Yeah, I think maybe what might be useful is once it's through the mayor, once this has been uploaded, maybe to listen, because I think it may be more of an issue from just hearing it in this meeting, just sort of like we had that issue when we were looking at the hybrid Zoom meeting where it sounded not good in this meeting, but then when we saw it for real, it was actually okay. I feel like this is the same situation. So maybe the step one is just upload one of the videos and just listen to it, and maybe send that out to some people as a beta test before we get too involved. But that might be a bit more specific than what we would normally discuss in a council meeting.
Sure. Yeah, no, I'll make sure that before we do anything, the sound is improved.
Thank you.
Fine tuning is always good, right? Before the final product goes out. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Anybody opposed? Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Selvage.
Thank you. Have a nice Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you as well. Administrative reports, 46th Avenue Flood Mitigation Grant Application. That City Council authorized staff to submit a grant application under the COVID-19 Resilience Infrastructure Stream, CBRIS, substream program titled the Adaptation, Resilience, and Disaster Mitigation, ARDM, for the 46th Avenue Flood Mitigation Project, and 2, that City Council support the project and finance the project cost of $486,000 until the cost can be recovered through the COVID-19 Resilience Infrastructure Stream, CBRIS grant program. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Wallace, Councillor Storteboom, any discussion on this? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that carries. Okay, on to new and unfinished business. Motions and notices of motions. And first up, we have a notice of motion declaring a climate emergency from Councillor Wallace. I will throw it over to you.
Thank you. So this is a notice of motion supporting the youth movement in addressing the climate crisis by the City of Langley taking action in declaring a climate emergency. Whereas climate change is an existential crisis and municipalities are at the forefront of addressing it. And that whereas the Earth is currently on track to warm by more than 3 degrees Celsius, and whereas on October 8th, 2018, report from the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change, IPCC, finds that it is necessary to limit global warming by 1.5 degrees Celsius rather than 2 degrees as previously understood. And that doing so would require rapid, far-reaching and unprecedented changes in all aspects of society, and that we have until 2030 to undertake these changes. And whereas the IPCC report puts the benchmark for greenhouse gas reduction targets for corporate and community-wide emissions at 45% by 2030, 65% by 2040, and 100% by 2050. And whereas the British Columbia government declared a provincial state of emergency in 2018 over record-setting wildfires. And whereas local governments worldwide are taking action to avoid the worst impacts of climate change and calling on senior levels of government for an urgent emergency response. And whereas youth all over the world are forming alliances in addressing and taking action, problem solving, and recognizing that every person deserves the right to a healthy environment, clean air, clean water, air, and soil. And whereas sustainability teams presented a delegation to Langley City Council back in April of 2019 with a list of concerns and suggestions in the much needed response to the climate crisis and the need for a just recovery for all. And whereas understanding the Indigenous rights, commit to the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People in full. And whereas the need to return to Indigenous stewardship and the natural world and respecting the place in which we reside is on the unceded land traditional territories of the Matsqui, Kwantlen, Katzie, and Samiamo First Nations. Whereas sustainability teams met with Metro Vancouver Action Committee and in a statement stated, the climate crisis affects everyone, especially youth. We will be the ones facing the worst impacts of climate change, and that looms over us every day. Because of this, we demand that the committee do everything in their power, A, declare a climate emergency, and B, adjust their emissions reductions targets to 65% by 2030 and 100% by 2040. Therefore, be it resolved that Council recognize that climate change constitutes an emergency in the City of Langley, and that Council directs staff to report back on how the city can, 1, update existing city plans with new targets as per the IPCC report. 2, add new actions that would help reduce greenhouse gas emissions beyond the scope of the city's current targets. And 3, incorporate into the city's climate targets and actions the need to achieve net zero carbon emissions before 2050 and net negative carbon emissions in the second half of the century. 4, have a balanced approach in biodiversity, sustainability, and stewardship, and integrate a framework of climate mitigation, adaptation, and resilience in consideration of all future developments and infrastructure projects within the city of Langley. 5, facilitate an intergenerational community engagement surrounding a just transition to reduce greenhouse gas emissions at the scale that is required, with the focus on vulnerable members of society who will be most impacted by climate change and intersecting inequity. Ensure these people are front and center in building long-term solutions.
Well, thank you very much for that notice of motion. So this motion will go on the next agenda for consideration by council. Thank you very much, Councillor Wallace. All right, and we received several pieces of correspondence this week. First up was the City of Vernon sent us a letter of support for universal no cost access to all prescription contraception available in BC under the Medical Services Plan. And second, we received a letter from the City of Port Moody, support for flood mitigation through green infrastructure and natural assets. Any comments? Councillor Wallace, go ahead.
All right, seems I'm talking a lot, but I just maybe need some guidance with this one. I would like, in receiving it as information, I'd like to go further in the City of Port Moody support for flood risk mitigation through green infrastructure and natural assets. As we've read in the report, we have shared waterways and streams that are in ecosystems. So I just want maybe some guidance in where we go from there as far as maybe a letter of support.
Sure, could we maybe receive the letter from the City of Vernon and refer this flood mitigation to staff for referral to come back? Would everybody be okay with that? I'm seeing head nods. Yep. Was that your suggestion, Councillor Albrecht?
Yeah, I was going to say refer to staff for possible action. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. So I need a mover and a seconder. So I'm going to make you the mover. Seconder, Councillor Pahal. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Wonderful. Okay, going into new business. This is Councillor Martin. I will put you up first because the second part is a motion to go into a closed meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, it's ironic that Paul in his report said that shopping and restaurants were the second and third most visited on the DLC site after attractions. So I want to assure the viewing public and anyone who has read the online story where the headline was Langley City is becoming a ghost town. This was stated by our Member of Parliament, Tamara Jensen. And in fact, we're not becoming a ghost town. You can drive through the one-way almost any time of the day and find it difficult to get a parking spot. Needless to say, several of the business owners were upset and appalled, as was I, that our Member of Parliament could make such a statement at this busiest time of the year for most businesses. Please continue to support our local businesses. They need us as much as we need them. And again, I'm just appalled that a Member of Parliament would use this sort of for maybe political gain. Our downtown, our businesses in the city are probably doing much better than a lot of communities. We are not becoming a ghost town. Thank you.
Councillor Pahal.
Madam Mayor, may I make a comment to Councillor Martin's comment? Thanks. Yeah, so I read that as well, and I'm glad you brought that up. I wasn't going to bring it up, but now that you have, walking everywhere, knowing that we've received all our tax, or basically 90% plus faster than any other community in the region, I was a little bit shocked to see that as well. I mean, our vacancy rates are probably as low as they've ever been. I'm sure Councillor James can speak to that in her capacity as the executive director of the Downtown Langley Business Association. Basically congestion all this weekend as people were shopping. There were lineups at basically every business on the one-way. I walked over to the Langley bypass. All the parking lots were filled. The mall was busy. So I don't know what community she was referring to, but I know that our community is thriving and successful. We have businesses willing and ready to set up. We've had new businesses open even during the pandemic. And we see very healthy very healthy development activity occurring almost to the same pace as 2019. So we're in a very thriving, healthy community with a successful business community. And to your point, I think Langley City residents and people within the greater Langley area are shopping in our town center. And I think they continue to do so. So I know our community is strong. I know our community is successful. And that's what I see. So thank you.
Councillor Sturdivant.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And yeah, I agree. It seems to me that our MP, Tamara Jensen for Cloverdale Langley City is out of touch. I know she comes from a rural community, but as an urban center, Langley City's got it going on, and we have for a long, long time. In fact, if we're to look at Cloverdale, the other part of the MP's riding, I can tell you it's a difference in night and day. Langley City is happening place. Even during these times, I go for walks every day. It's a dynamic, active, vital community. I'd like to encourage us to write a letter to the MP to advise her that we would appreciate her support for the downtown core, and that she must be more careful about how she represents us in this regard, because during these troubled times, we really need everybody in the community, especially our leaders, to come together and make a difference to encourage us to move forward. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's a long drive. We're getting there, but we really need to have everybody on the team. Thank you very much.
Councillor Wallace, go ahead. You're on mute.
Yeah, thanks, Nathan. that was a good signal. I just thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to say that I like Councillor Sturdivant's suggestion of writing a letter to Tamara Jensen. There are so many benefits to shopping local and supporting local, and I think that our downtown businesses right now are doing everything they can to make it. I think I don't know. I'm amazed at how well they are doing, despite what we are going through as far as a pandemic. So I please write her a letter, and I don't know. And thank you, Councillor Martin, for bringing that up to council, because it is just reading that was just so ridiculous.
Councillor Albrecht.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Martin, for bringing this forward. I don't think a letter is appropriate. I think it's one that requires a direct phone call or a face-to-face meeting. It's something that needs to be sorted out quickly and in person. So I'd be happy to do that, or a member of council should be approaching her and maybe inviting her down here for a lunch and having a little bit of interaction with some of her constituents would be the right thing to do, so that she knows what she's talking about. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, I can say I did meet her on the street a couple weeks ago when she was going in to meet with some of the businesses, and several businesses in the downtown area did have concerns that they were going to be going under. And she is trying to address it at her job level, at the federal level. So I will not be supporting a letter. I would love to have a chat with her first to see what her job entails. And I don't believe everything I read in the newspaper, so or that is on the news. Councillor James. You're on mute.
Yeah, I know. My button's not working. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to add to the conversation, and I'm very aware of the fact that I have to be cautious about comments. But first of all, I find it very interesting that she did not contact either the Greater Langley Chamber of Commerce or the DLBA when looking for information as to the, the bead on the entire situation in Langley City. And secondly, I have talked to business owners myself, many of which are absolutely outraged and are actually doing better this year than they were this time last year. And that is equated to a lot of factors: the support local movement, the downtown dollars that are constantly being distributed and going back right back into our economy. So I'd be very interested in either meeting with her or being part of the conversation, or maybe not part of the conversation, but in the general room, and or writing her a letter just to let her know that she is outraged dozens and dozens of businesses with what she said. So I won't go any further because I'm aware of the hats that I wear, but I think that was completely and totally and horrifyingly inappropriate.
Okay, I'm just trying to get clarification from staff before I go on to you, Councillor Martin and Councillor Storteboom. I see your hands up. Councillor Albrecht, are you done? Can you put your hand down, or do you have your hand? Thank you. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a focus on here and the side. Now, do we want to put forward a motion to invite her to maybe a special meeting between all of us instead of sending a letter, and talk to her personally and see where that stands? Would we be good with that? Okay, we got a mover and a seconder, Councillor Pahal, Councillor Wallace. Kelly, do we need to actually create a full motion to invite?
Madam Mayor, so my understanding is the motion is that council invite MP Jensen to a special meeting of council to discuss
Her comments.
well, why don't we just leave it as invite Tamara Jensen to a special meeting with council then?
Perfect. Okay, so we had a mover and a seconder on that, Councillor Albrecht and Councillor Wallace, correct? Okay, call the vote. All those in favor? Did any? Okay. Councillor Martin?
Yes, thank you. Prior to me bringing this up at council, I thought a lot about it. And I'm actually surprised that the majority of council supports what I have said. I thought there would be somebody that would say you can't believe everything you read, and that was you, Mayor Vandenbroek. If you go to the story, there is a video of Tamara Jensen opening her statement with, Cloverdale Langley City is becoming a ghost town, Mr. Speaker. So she said it, and it's on video. So I don't appreciate the fact that, you can't believe everything you read in the paper. Well, if I didn't have this on video, I might say the same thing, but I checked it out. I listened to the whole video before I came up with this statement. Quite frankly, I think a letter would suffice. I don't know what a meeting's going to prove. What are we going to say? Why did you say that? We don't have to have a meeting to find out what her job is. We know what her job is. She's a member of parliament. And, in the context, this was being given in regards to the new Canada pension payroll tax that the Liberals are thinking of bringing in on January the 1st. So quite frankly, to be very blunt about it, it was all political. It was a political statement to make the Liberals look bad. And I don't think we need to have a meeting with her. A letter would suffice that she should not have said that, and she's upset a lot of businesses. And hopefully these businesses will write to her and let her know exactly that she has to, as Councillor Storteboom said, she has to find out what's going on in her community, because obviously she doesn't know. Thank you.
Councillor Storteboom, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think writing a letter is a good idea because then we will be able to get something back in writing, hopefully. I know that Councillor Wallace and I have been trying to have a meeting with the MP for quite a while, and we've been put off for the better part of a year. So the opportunity to actually meet in person is slim to none. We finally gave up. I would appreciate it if MP Jansen was more interested in representing Cloverdale Langley City to the federal government than she was in representing her party to the Liberals. So I think a letter will suffice. If she wants to meet with us, that would be a bonus. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, we can do both. There's no problem with that. I think letter is very hard to get the written word out, and I think sometimes a conversation is better to get more information out of. So I think we can do both, quite honestly. Councillor Wallace.
I agree. I think we should do both. And I think a letter has to be sent to her because I think it's, we're raising it as a concern as a council. It's something that we all have read. Like Rudy said, we have been trying to get a meeting with Tamara Jensen for a very long time over other issues. And I think, I read a letter to this specific of what she said in regards to the ghost town of the downtown businesses and Cloverdale, both which she represents. But also she needs to know what we're doing as what we're doing as a council. So we need to meet with her so she sees all the work that has been done with the Nexus of Community and the Economic Development Committee and the Performing Arts Cultural Center. Like there are so many things that we need support from our federal government as far as funding goes. She needs to know that there are a lot of issues and a lot of partnerships to be had. So I'm just going to say I think we should do both.
Okay. Councillor Paul.
Then could I amend the motion so it says, I think somewhere to set up a special meeting with MP, and I know I'm paraphrasing it, but then the part could be, and send a letter regarding her comments around Langley City being a ghost town, explaining the success story of her community during the COVID-19 pandemic. Just so there's actually some.
So you just want to amend the
action. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So we've got that. Okay. So any other further discussion on that? Okay, call the vote. All those in favor? All those in favor?
We have the motion read before we vote on it.
Sure. Ms. Kenny, could you read the motion, please?
So right now, it was moved and seconded to invite MP Jansen to a special meeting with council. Then there's been now a motion on the floor to amend that motion to add and send a letter regarding comments. And I'm sorry, I did not get the rest of it, Councillor Pahal, but so if we're right now at the amendment to send a letter regarding the comments that she has made. So yeah, there still needs to be a vote on that.
Councillor Pahal, go ahead.
Yeah, and just for clarity, it was a letter. So it was regarding her comments around Langley City being a ghost town and explaining the success of our community throughout the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay. Councillor Martin.
Yeah, I'm all in favor of sending a letter, but perhaps we could send a letter, certainly addressing her comments, and in the letter say if she wishes to meet with council, we'd be happy to meet with her instead of asking for a meeting. I mean, it's her comments that have to be addressed. So I would rather, so that's sort of gonna not fit with the motion because we're asking for a meeting. I don't think we should be asking if she wishes to meet.
I personally would like a meeting, and this is why I'd like a meeting. I'd like her to clarify for me why she would call it a ghost town. Was she referring to Langley City as well as Cloverdale or both? I'd like to hear her answer for it. So for me, a letter is not going to do that. I'd like to actually have a conversation with her to ask her why she made those comments, to give her the chance.
Well, hopefully she'd write us back and let us know. We ask in the letter, why did she do it?
haven't done that yet.
Councillor Bahal?
I mean, I think that by what we've said here, by sending a letter and by requesting a meeting, whatever order that is, I think the point is probably going to be well heard. Because I'm assuming you need to send a letter anyways to request a meeting. So I'm good with however it lands, but I think all the components that I'd like to see are here.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, did you want to amend the motion, Councillor Martin, then?
Yes, I'll amend that we send a letter to MP Tamara Jensen requesting an explanation of why she made the comments about Langley becoming a ghost town. And if she so chooses, we'd be happy to meet with her for her to explain it. Other than that, we'd like a written response.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
we're right now at an amendment on adding, sending a letter regarding the comments around the city being a ghost town. So do we need to have
Do you
that
want to withdraw that?
Or vote on it?
Sure, I'll withdraw the motion to what
Yeah,
Councillor Martin's proposing, if that's simpler for folks. And it ends up with a meeting occurring and a letter being written.
So now mover and seconder for Councillor Martin's amendment, I guess, or
well, it's not an amendment, it's a motion because Nathan withdrew the other motion.
well, he was making an amendment to the main motion. So now we still got the main motion to invite Tamara Jensen to a special meeting with council, unless we have a vote on that and it fails, or with approval of the mover and seconder, it can be withdrawn.
Who moved it?
I believe, oh, I didn't move I didn't move the main motion. So.
No. Who moved the main motion, Kelly?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Yes, Councillor Pahal moved it and Councillor Wallace seconded.
So you can withdraw it, Nathan.
Sure, I'll withdraw the original motion.
The entire thing?
Well, she has a new one, right? Or sorry,
Okay.
Councillor Martin has a new motion that she'd like to propose. So.
Okay. Councillor Martin, go ahead with your motion then.
Well, I already said it. Did Kelly get it?
Not all of it.
Do you want to tell me what you got?
Yes, that we send a letter to Tamara Jensen requesting explanation as to why she chose to make the statements that she did in the newspaper.
That Langley is becoming a ghost town.
Yeah. Okay.
We'd like an explanation, or if she so chooses, we're happy to meet with her.
Okay. I don't know if that's been seconded yet.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? And that's good, Ms. Kenny?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, I'll call the vote then. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Okay, so motion to hold the closed meeting. That the council meeting immediately following this meeting be closed to the public as the subject matter being considered relates to items which comply with the following closed meeting criteria specified in section 90 of the community charter. 1, a part of a council meeting may be closed to the public if the subject matter being considered relates to or is one or more of the following. E, the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of land or improvements, if the council considers that disclosure could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Wallers, Councillor Strodeboom, all those in favor? Carries. Motion that the meeting adjourn. Need a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor James, seconder. Councillor Strodeboom, all those in favor? And that carries.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to all.
Oh, we're going into a closed meeting now. So,
So Merry